I'm sorry. Okay, and we're live.
Hi, real estate agents. This is real estate coach Craig Proctor. Would you like to know how to make a lot of money in real estate when you don't have a lot of money? This is what I hear from real estate agents all the time is, I got into real estate, I want to make a lot of money, but it appears you have to have a lot of money to make money. And we want to talk to you today about how that's not true. My superstar guest today is Craig Proctor member and superstar Gavin Lutz from Grimsby, Ontario. Gavin, welcome to the Craig Proctor Show.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. How's it going, everybody?
Hey, Gavin, we had you present at our April conference in Toronto, and you blew everybody away because you've only been in real estate for a couple of years, and you're faced with the same challenge that we're all faced with. When you get into real estate, you kind of look around at what everyone else is doing, and the tendency is, well, I don't know what I'm doing, so I should just like copy what everyone else is doing. But you didn't do that. You became a Craig Proctor coaching member, and we started to share with you strategies that you could use. And you've done an amazing job, such an amazing job. I asked you to present at the April conference, and you blew everybody away because you said, I made $117,000 doing three things. And we're going to talk about those three things today. But here's the most important. The three things didn't cost Gavin any money. So let us know you're with us here today. Please type into the comments the city and state or city and province here in Canada. Where do you work? Let us know that you're with us. Gavin is in Canada. He's in Grimsby, Ontario, just outside of Toronto. Gavin, first of all, talk about how did you find me? You've been in real estate not that long. How did you find me? And talk a little bit about what happened at the beginning.
Absolutely. So I was in real estate for probably about, let's say, 8-9 months before I found you. Hadn't done a deal, hadn't done really anything. No idea what I was doing. I had all this time on my hands and not a clue what to do with it. You see all these coaches or gurus or whatever they want to call themselves. They say, okay, make the calls. Who on earth am I going to call? So I stumbled across you on Facebook, actually. It was during COVID. So it was a Facebook ad I saw yours. And then I got retargeted by your ads. I thought, this guy's good. And so I responded to it. And then I had a sales call with one of your guys, and the rest is history. So I got on board there. I was on a team. I quit that shortly after joining your coaching and started my own team and went from there.
Now, when we had you speak at the April conference, I think in 2023, and we've got, I think we've got the income chart to pull up here, Faith. Maybe you can do that. But it was last year that you made $117,000?
That's correct.
So let's pull that up. We're going to have Faith do a screen share here. Okay, so this is like almost like your first full year in real estate. You made $117,000. Just so everybody knows this is real. I asked Gavin, hey, is it cool if we show this? You can see everything that's highlighted here in yellow are transactions from open houses. And then we're going to talk about how to get referrals from lawyers like divorce attorneys and things like that. Those are highlighted in green. And you can see together, I don't know if you guys maybe can make it bigger, Faith. You can see at the bottom, the income for 2023 from open houses, lawyer referrals, and from running free ads on Facebook Marketplace was $117,335. Okay, so you can zoom back again, Faith. So just want to let everyone know this is real. Okay, this isn't hype. These are actual transactions. All the ones highlighted in yellow came from open houses. The ones highlighted in green are from our lawyer referral strategies, which we're going to talk about today. And then the third thing were Facebook Marketplace ads. Now, before we got started, Gavin, I said, how are you doing this year? So explain to everybody how you're doing so far in 2024.
So this year's been great so far. Just go back a little bit. You said first year was 117. So my first year before I found you, I did 37, and then I found you and I 4x that. So I did about 120. This year I'm already at 120, and we're 6 months in. So I'm on track to do about 250 this year.
Awesome. Okay. What do you guys think of this? You're watching this right now. Okay. Gavin, young guy, new in the business. Same thing happened to me when I first got into the business. I had no idea. I'd never sold anything in my life. In fact, Gavin, I didn't even like houses. The only reason I got into real estate, Honestly, I dropped out of college. I dropped out of university. My father was a real estate agent. I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'll try that. And you know the story. My dad was like, well, you don't do that. You don't go into real estate if you've already failed at all these other things. Like, like, son, do you know the failure rate in real estate? But I had nowhere else to go, so I figured it out. And like you, that first year for me too, Gavin, was a struggle. And my dad was trying to help me. He didn't want me to fail once I took the plunge. So, you know, my dad's saying, well, go knock on FSBOs and sit in open houses. But I had no idea how to do a proper open house. An open house to me was a place where I would go and nobody else would. And I'd sit there like a dummy for 3 hours. But we're going to talk about how your open house strategy, you know, the key with an open house, I think we'd all agree, is it works better if buyers are there, right? My open houses, nobody's coming. So we're going to talk about how you market these open houses. Now, of course, some of you are going to be thinking, well, hang on a minute. I'm new in real estate. I don't have any open houses, right? So Gavin's going to talk to you today about how he actually borrows listings from other top agents. And he's going to talk about how when he's doing the open house, the focus isn't necessarily on selling the house that he's opening, the open housing, because that's what we try to do. We try to sell the house, and very few people are interested in the house. And when they eliminate the home, they also eliminate us. And, you know, Gavin's like, okay, hang on, big picture here. I'm not just here to sell a house. I have a real estate license that says I can sell any home in the marketplace. So we'll start with open houses. Then we'll move to the second strategy, which is you guys all love referrals, right? Well, imagine getting referrals from divorce attorneys or attorneys that do any kind of family law. It could be probate. And I know you might be thinking, well, wouldn't most lawyers already have a relationship with a real estate agent? Nope. Do you guys have a relationship with a divorce attorney, a probate? Probably not, right? So imagine having relationships with 2 or 3 or 5 lawyers that are sending you a couple of referrals every month. And then lastly, we're going to talk about Facebook Marketplace, which it costs you absolutely $0. Now, again, you might be saying, well, how do I advertise houses on Facebook Marketplace? Remember what I said a minute ago. Gavin borrows the listings. So let's talk about this whole borrowing the listing. What I love about borrowing the listing is you get to cherry pick the best listings in town.
And that's a big part of it. Is if something's too priced or it's not your prime demographic, you're going to sit there by yourself, maybe have a nap, and nobody's going to come. So you want to pick things that are priced well, and they're the clientele that you actually want to work with.
You know, paradigms are funny. You know, paradigms are like our self-belief system. And you know, when I first got into real estate, if I could get a listing, it was usually a crummy listing, right? It was to be like a 2-bedroom home on a corner lot with an in-ground pool that should have been filled in 20 years ago, right? So, but because I had that listing, that crappy listing, that's what I would advertise, right? This listing, this home that nobody wanted, and that's what I would open house. But when you're not limited by your listings, if you don't have any, and even if you have listings, okay, I want everyone to understand, even if you have listings, it doesn't mean you're mandated to only advertise or promote or open house what you have. What Gavin figured out is it's better to offer what it is that buyers want versus trying to sell what he has. And in the beginning, that was nothing. He didn't have any listings, right? So, okay. So obvious question, how do you approach an agent in your marketplace and say, hey, I'd like to borrow your listing or open house or advertise your listing? How does that conversation go?
So I time block every day of the week. So I give myself 30 minutes Monday to Friday to find myself an open house for that weekend. And I'm calling agents. So what I do to look for the open house that I actually want is first you got to figure out what's the most popular in my market. So for me, that's going to be your kind of detached bungalow in the area. You're around that 800,000 to 900,000 mark. Those are going to be your move up buyers, and they move the fastest. So good money there. They're selling quick, and there actually is a demand for it. So you're going to get people to turn out at the open house. So I look through and I try to look through new listings so that it hasn't been on for, 2 months, 3 months, because then it's dated. People have seen it. Nobody's going to come to the open house. So new listings in that price point of the kind of house that I want to sell. And I just call the agents. And when I started, you gave me the idea, actually. You always say borrow listings, borrow listings. And I thought, how on earth am I going to borrow listings? Nobody knows me. And so I just started calling and I got
Like,
better.
what's the worst thing that can happen, right?
Yeah.
And you've got some no's along the way, but
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I think you said like about every 3 or 4 agents that you call, one will say yes.
About 1 in 3. About one
One
in
and three.
three.
Okay, so let's do the role play.
Okay.
I'm going to be. I'm a realtor. Now, Are you limiting it to? You're with Remax. Are these just Remax agents at your office, or you borrow listings from any agent from any company?
I'll go do any agent, any company.
Okay.
Full disclosure, I do some for agents at my office as well, of course, but I
Okay.
don't care what brokerage they're with.
Okay. So we're going to do a quick role play. I'm an
Okay.
agent with a listing that you would think is a high demand, and let's talk about that. That was a key gem. Is you're identifying the right type of listing that you want to promote and you want to open house. And I totally agree with the move up buyer strategy. That's exactly what I did. I identified like my best target market is in my marketplace today it'd be a home maybe that's listed between $1 and $1.5 million because I know that a first-time buyer can't afford to buy that home. So 100% of the buyers for that listing are going to have a house to sell. And if they're local and they're attracted to one of my move-up properties, even if it's not my listing, I'm going to get a buyer, but now I'm going to get listings. So identifying your target market, deciding, okay, there's all of these listings on MLS, which houses would I like to promote? And then I'm going to call that real estate agent. And I guess over time you develop this little script, right? You try and try again, and you kind of figure it out. So we're going to do a role play. I'm an agent. I don't know you, and you're calling me because you want to borrow my listing. So ring, ring, and I say hello.
Hi, Craig. This is Gavin calling from Remax Niagara. How you doing today?
Very good. How can I help you?
That's good. Well, I'm just calling you about your listing over at 3 Almond Gardens. It's I really like what you did with that one. Really nice listing you put together there.
Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. We do a lot of business in the area, and I would love to be able to market the property, bring you a buyer for that property. We've had a lot of success lately, and I'd really, I see the property's been sitting for a little while. I'd love to be able to help take care of that off your hands.
Okay. What do you have in mind?
What we love to do is we advertise every way we can. We want as many eyes on the property as possible. So we're going to do that on social media, on Facebook Marketplace as well. I know a lot of people laugh when I suggest that, but we've sold a lot of houses on Facebook Marketplace. And then what I really love to do is open houses as well. We've had a lot of success in the Grimsby Beach area with open houses. We've had great turnouts and some great offers for people.
Okay. Sounds great. So what do I need to do?
Nothing. I'll do all the work and you can take credit for it with your client. Anything I need to know about the house?
And I tell you a little bit about the house.
Would Sunday 2 to 4 work, normal time?
I'll call my clients and see if that's okay.
Okay. I appreciate it. Well, we'll go ahead then and we'll start marketing it and we'll get that together going for Sunday. I appreciate it.
Now, I'm totally being an actor with my part of the script because I have no idea what the other agents say. So why don't you share with everybody, there's probably typically 2 responses, right? They're either like open to it or they're not. Okay. So let's do the negative one first.
Okay.
You call the agent, you say what you just said, and what would be like the worst case thing you would hear from an agent?
I've had people say we're not allowed to do that if I'm at other offices.
Right.
I just, not a problem. You can take all the credit for it.
Right.
I never pretend it's my own listing. And it's no issue at all. And I just kind of play it down that way. They can take credit for it, and I always give them credit. Sometimes that diffuses them. No one's really negative because it's just agents and agents. It's not cold calling somebody off the street. We're professional, we're peers in a way. So I don't get anything really negative. It's just a simple, I don't think they're comfortable with that, or I don't think we're allowed.
I think a lot of agents would think, good for you. Here's a young guy, trying to create opportunity and, is calling me to see if we can work out an arrangement to ultimately get the property sold. Okay, now let's do, so I did my version of the positive response, but what do they really say when you're calling an agent that's open to it? How does that go?
Sometimes they're confused what I mean by market the property.
Right.
When I say I want to put it on Facebook Marketplace, they don't really understand what I mean by that. So I explain that a little bit, and I explain how much success we've had with it and what that entails. How I get the photos, I borrow them from their listing on what they publicly posted. So a lot of the calls, it's explaining in a little bit more detail what we actually do, and then explaining what we do at the open house. So we'll touch on that in a little bit, but I have a full plan for the open house. And so, yeah, a lot more of the call is explaining. It's not as quick as yeah, no problem. And okay, Sunday 2 to 4.
Okay, let's break this down for everybody. So some of you might have this reaction of we're not allowed to do this. Let's make sure that we check that out. So if that is true, if in your particular state or province, your area, if you're not allowed to open house another brokerage's listings, then if that's true, and I've had a lot of agents say, well, we're not allowed to, and then they check into it and they actually are. But if that was true, you could still borrow listings from your brokerage, right? So I was a Remax agent for 25 years, and I think, Gavin, we had 55 Remax agents at the office. So if that's you, if you in your state or your province in Canada, if you are not allowed to borrow a listing from an agent that works for a different brokerage to advertise it on Facebook Marketplace or to open house it, then you want to make sure that you're borrowing listings at least from other agents inside your brokerages. Okay, but check it out. That's what I want everyone. I mean, there's limiting beliefs. Here's the big thing that I learned over the years. So much of what we think is hearsay, right? So check it out. And the question, very specifically is, in your marketplace, are you allowed to borrow or advertise a listing from another broker? If you have permission from the broker, from that other broker, they work for a different brokerage, and their seller, are you allowed to? If not, are you able to advertise or open house a listing from your brokerage? Of course, the answer is yes. So everybody can do this one way or the other. Now, I would have to think once you've got these relationships, Gavin, with the brokers that have said yes in the past, well, then you're not starting from scratch. The next time they have a great listing, you can call them and it's easy, right? Because you did it once.
Exactly. And so there's a lot of big team, I wouldn't say partnered with yet, but they quite often say, yep, no problem. I'm allowed to, I just have a blanket pass of advertising their properties. I just say, as soon as I see a new listing from them, hey, I'd love to do that one. Nope, no problem. Because they know the routine. They know I give them all the feedback. They know they've had success in the past. And so you start to build that rapport, and then it's a lot less work. It's a lot easier to secure these open houses.
Okay. So far we've talked about how you, first of all, get a house to open. Okay. If you don't have any listings, or you've got crummy listings, you don't like the listings you have, you're brand new in real estate, like I was at one point, like Gavin was, and people are like, well, you gotta list to last, you gotta advertise your listings. You're like, well, wait a minute, I don't have any listings. We just talked about how you're going to borrow other listings, either from your brokerage. You're at Century 21, you're at Remax, whatever company you're at, you're going to borrow listings inside the brokerage. And if allowed, you're going to borrow listings from any agent on MLS. Okay. So now we've got a listing, and we're going to do two things with it. We're going to promote the open house, which we're going to talk about next. And you're going to advertise it in Marketplace, which we're going to Facebook Marketplace for $0, which we're going to talk about last. Let's talk about open houses, because some of you watching this are like, okay, but Craig, open houses suck. Okay. Open houses suck. I don't want to do open houses. Craig, I'm surprised you're even talking about open houses. We're not talking about the traditional, open house that doesn't really work at all. The reason we're going through this trouble of borrowing listings and opening them, because this actually works. You saw the trade record sheets up there, $117,000 last year with no ad spend. Gavin's already done that in the first half of 2024. He's going to double that. So what's that? It's like $240,000.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So how do you promote these listings? Remember, the game we're playing here is Gavin can't spend any money. Okay. It's almost like, this should be like a reality TV show. We take Gavin, we fly across the country, we push him out of an airplane at 10,000 feet with a parachute. He doesn't even know what city he's landing in, and he's got no money, and he's got to figure out how to make $200,000 a year with no money. That's the game we're playing here.
I'd watch that.
Yeah, it's. I think we're onto something here. Okay, so how do you promote the open house? Joe Blow, the other realtor, said, "Yeah, go ahead. I've got this awesome listing, and you're going to open it Saturday, Sunday. How's that going to work?"
I like to do Sundays. I find a better turnout on Sunday. So I do a Sunday 2 to 4 slot. I find we get a better turnout, works better with my schedule. So that's what I stick with. They've given us permission to use their marketing material. So now we have access to all of their photos. I like to book a showing beforehand so I know what I'm getting into. I also film myself a little video while I'm at the pre-showing.
Smart.
And so I try to every way we can.
Yeah.
Everything I do is to get as many eyes on the property as possible. And that's what I really stress to these agents while I'm on the phone with them. And so I post that to all my social media channels. And then we go to Facebook Marketplace. We're going to post that listing onto Facebook Marketplace as well. We're not just going to include just the property details, though. You want to offer your guarantees as well, because you're trying to sell yourself. Who cares if we sell that specific house? This is only really used to generate leads. I could not care less if I sell the house that I'm doing an open house for. And in fact, I've never sold the house that I did an open house for. I just want to meet people, build a good rapport, be able to book a meeting with them down the road and teach them about what I can offer. It's really just a foot in the door to meet people.
And you've become pretty good at that, approaching people that come into the open house. We all don't know what we're doing in the beginning. And I became pretty good at that too, kind of building rapport, how to approach people, how to qualify them, and eventually get in the door because our target market, remember, is a move-up buyer. So they're here in Grimsby, Ontario. They're looking around at the house, but a good chance they live somewhere in the area. And, Gavin's going to try to get in the door there. What you're offering is a service versus being a walking, talking feature sheet for that open house.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Maybe explain when we say you're offering a service, realtors watching this might say, well, that's genius, Craig. I mean, we're all offering a service, but how does your service differ from the service or offers of other agents that you compete with?
That's fair. That's fair. So too often people, when they come to your open house, they marry you to the property. And so if the property's not a good fit for them, then you never hear from them again because they think you're trying to sell that house. And so that's why I stress as much as possible. I don't even talk about the house that I'm in so that I'm not associated with that house. I'm associated with being a helpful real estate advisor. And I've lost my train of thought now.
Okay. Well, first of all, that's a writer downer. That's a writer downer. Okay. You're not there just to sell the house. You're there to sell a house to the buyer. Now, I could say it's the same thing when any of us get an ad call or a sign call. What we all believe when we first get into real estate, right? We try to convert the buyer that calls us off of the property, whether it be an ad call or a sign call. All we talk about on the phone is the house. And we learn the hard way that, like, I don't know what the number is, 95% of the ad calls or sign calls that you get, when you give the buyer the information on the property, you think you're doing this great job giving the buyer all this wonderful information on the property, but 95% of the buyers eliminate the property, right? They tell you it's too big, it's too small, it's too much money, it's the wrong location or whatever. And what you said is so true. When they eliminate the property, they also eliminate you. So that's why we learn that we have to become good at call conversion. So all of us know that, right? I would think that all of you know that the buyer never buys the property they're calling on. I mean, I'm talking in absolutes, but it's almost like they never buy the property they're calling on. And so once you give them the information on the property and they tell you it's too big, too small, too much money, wrong location or whatever, you immediately switch gears to, well, what are you looking for? Right? Now, this is where our offer has to be unique. Because if Gavin sounds like every other real estate agent, if he's what I can do is I can email you the houses that you can find on the internet by yourself. Well, if I'm a buyer, that's, thanks for coming out. That's not really a compelling offer because most real estate agents, honestly, are just offering what the buyer believes they can do on their own. Okay, so Gavin, tell us how you set yourself apart from the other agents by offering this unique service that gets the buyers to say, oh, wait a minute. Yes, I would like that. And this is the key. It's not what Gavin and I figured out. It's not like they're interested in us. Okay. And I'm not saying you can't be a jerk or whatever. You have to be approachable and likable, but the offer's not about us. Okay. The offer is about something they really, really want that they don't believe they can get anywhere else. They don't believe what Gavin's about to tell you. What the buyers believe is they can't get it anywhere else. They can't find what he's about to offer. They can't find it on the internet, and it's not being offered by any other agent. Okay, so I'm a buyer. Let's pretend I'm a buyer and I'm coming into your open house, and I look around, and you're maybe making some small talk, creating, that's like 101, creating a bit of rapport with me. Whether I like the house or I don't like the house doesn't really matter. Your approach isn't going to change.
No, it doesn't matter what you say. I always ask for feedback just to get them talking. But then whatever they say, I go to our offer of off-market and unlisted properties. That's been a gold mine for us because it's like you said, they can't find it for themselves online. Especially people going to open houses, there are people doing it themselves. An agent didn't book it, an agent didn't bring them there. They went and they found that house on their own. And so they think they can already do it on their own. So I talk about how we've had a lot of success with clients finding
unlisted, off-market, distress sales,
Sorry.
bank foreclosures.
Okay,
so let's load up that gun with this offer, okay? Because that's the way you look at this. Is like, I'm going to make this unbelievable offer. It's the offer's so good that no buyer can really say no to it.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's go from the top. So you're going to send me all the stuff that's on the market that I can get on my own. However, you're also going to get me what?
We're also going to send you unlisted and off-market properties. That's going to include distress sales, bank foreclosures, things like that. Properties that aren't available to the public and are very hard to find. So we spend our marketing dollars and our time, and we find you basically exactly what you're looking for and where you're looking for it. Does that sound like it'd be helpful for you?
Who says no to that? How many buyers said no? No, I'm just looking for the bad deals. Actually, no, I don't want to know about the great deals that are unlisted, off-market, distress sale, bank foreclosures, vacant homes. No, I don't want to know about those. Of course, this is what buyers want. Now let's take a time out for a minute. Real estate agents watching this, how many of you would agree that if you could make the offer that Gavin just made, if you could say to buyers, hey, not only can I get you access to all the homes on MLS listed by all the real estate companies, but in addition to that, at no cost or obligation, I could also get you access to unlisted, off-market, distress sale, bank foreclosure, company-owned properties, and vacant homes. Is that something you might be interested in? Absolutely. How many buyers do you think would say yes? Okay, so now we get to the next point of how do we do that? Now, they don't know how to do it. We know how to do it. And this is what we teach agents to do. I'm a coach, right? Craig Proctor. And nobody knows how to do this until they're trained how to find these properties. So this is what our coaching is on, is how do we get access to unlisted and off-market? Now, when you started with me a couple of years ago, Gavin, first of all, you didn't even know this was a thing, let alone how do you find these kinds of properties?
I had no idea. And even once I did find out, I felt like a fraud saying we've had a lot of success or offering it because I had no idea how. But through this
is very important.
I can say we've had a lot of success because when you're a coaching member, we're as a collective, we help each other. We have had success with it. So you can absolutely say that with credibility.
Yes. And this is very important. What you just said is you got to feel good about this. Okay. So let me be very blunt. We are not bullshitting buyers. Okay, we're not lying to buyers saying that we can get them something that we really can't. Okay, in other words, I've been doing this for 30 years. We got to have credibility here. We're not offering something that we can't deliver on. So we would teach you how to get this buyer access to unlisted and off-market homes. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, gee, Craig and Gavin, we're not allowed to do this because that's considered a pocket listing and that's illegal. We're not allowed to do this. Nope, this is not a pocket listing. Remember, we talked about paradigms. Everyone keep their mind wide open. Here's how we're doing it. I'm the buyer. I walk into Gavin's open house. Gavin seems like a good guy. I look around the house. Of course, I don't like the house, right? It's too big, too small, whatever. And Gavin makes this offer. He's like, hey, Mr. Proctor, he might call me that because I'm older. Mr. Proctor, would you like access to, unlisted off-market distress sale, bank foreclosures? Some of the best houses aren't even listed publicly for sale. Would you like to get access to the best deals? It's free of charge, never obligated to do anything. I would be, yeah, I'm interested in that. How does that work? And what Gavin says, well, tell me what neighborhood you're interested in our marketplace, what type of house you're interested. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to market to homeowners in the neighborhood you're interested in. And we're going to find homeowners that are thinking of selling that haven't yet listed their home for sale. And when we find sellers that have a home that would be a good match for you, we will go look at the house, preview the home, make sure it's a good match. We would speak to the seller about their asking price. And if we think it's a fair price and a home that you might be interested in, we would call you. So the house is not listed. We're not listing the house. We're simply finding homeowners that haven't yet listed who would like to sell, and we're matching those sellers up with our buyers. Okay. Some of you next might be thinking, well, why the hell would a seller do that? Why wouldn't the seller just place their house on MLS? Okay, here's the answer. Because people hate that. Okay. Anybody here that's sold their home and you've done it the regular route and you're weeks and months on the market, and every time there's a showing, you got to get your kids and your dog and sit around the corner in the rain. It's a hassle. So the new thing that sellers want is, how can I sell my home without listing it on MLS and doing it the traditional way? And that's why we have all these iBuyer companies and cash offer programs that are very popular with sellers. Now, would every seller be interested in this? No. Gavin's not looking for every seller. Okay. I don't know. What's the name of a neighborhood in Grimsby?
Grimsby Beach.
Grimsby Beach. Okay. So I walk into Gavin's open house, and he makes this offer. Hey, Craig, would you like to get access to unlisted off-market distress sales, bank foreclosures, vacant homes? It's a free service. You're never obligated to do anything without interest you. And I say, yes. Gavin says, well, where are you interested in living? I say, what did I say? Grimsby Beach? Grimsby Beach. So Gavin says, well, Craig, would it be okay if I marketed to people that own a home in Grimsby Beach and I find homeowners that haven't yet listed their home for sale, but they want to move? Craig, you would literally be the only buyer that would know about these properties. This is how you beat out other buyers to the best new listings in Grimsby Beach. Would that interest you? What do you think the buyer says? So it doesn't cost me anything. I'm not obligated to buy a home. You're going to get me access to all the homes on MLS, which, by the way, I can find on the internet myself, and you're going to get me access to these great deals. This is what we do in coaching. We show you how to do this because you guys have questions now. Well, how would I market? How do I identify people in Grimsby Beach that want to move? How do I know who owns the houses? How do I market to them? When sellers say, yeah, I'm thinking of selling, I haven't listed yet, but I'm thinking of selling, how do you approach them? How do you make sure that if you have a home seller in Grimsby Beach that responds to you and you tell your buyer about it, how do you make sure the buyer and the seller don't get together and cut you out? These are all things that we train you to do. So you've got now, folks, guess what? You've got an offer. Look at how far we've come on our call here today, right? You ain't spending any money. You're borrowing listings, which we're going to talk about how we run the ads for $0 on Facebook Marketplace. But most importantly, I taught Gavin what to say. Because here's what wouldn't work. Gavin's sitting at an open house, twiddling his thumb, even if buyers are coming through. If Gavin was making the same lame offer as everybody else, right? Would you like a free market event? It would fall on deaf ears, right? So we had to teach Gavin, okay, how do we, the words that come out of your mouth, Gavin, they got to be really good. So when the buyers and sellers hear it, they're like, yeah, man, I want that. Mm-hmm. Boom. Okay. That's the first subject, is how do you borrow the listings, do the open houses? How do you have good offers that come out of your mouth so people want what you have? Next, we're going to switch gears and we're going to talk about partnering with lawyers. In fact, Faith, can you pull up that other PowerPoint slide I sent you that shows the bullet points number 1, 2, and 3, just so we keep everyone on track here? Okay, so the 3 things that we want to cover here today on the Craig Proctor Show. Okay, the topic is how Gavin here made tens of thousands, $117,000 exactly in 2023 without spending a penny on advertising. In 2024, he's on pace to double that. So let's call it almost $250,000. Doing three things: open houses. Okay, check that one off. We just talked about that. We're moving on to number two: partnerships with lawyers. Then we're going to go to Facebook Marketplace. Okay, you can unshare that now. Faith, thank you. All right. So we all love referrals, but limiting belief, right? When real estate agents think about referrals, we're thinking about who did I go to high school with? Okay, I should call all those guys. And what are the contacts in my phone? And then, of course, all my clients. Oh, wait a minute. I'm brand new in real estate. I don't have any past clients, right? Now remember my story. I got into real estate because my father had been in real estate for 20 years. You think any of my relatives were going to call Craig, the brand new agent, when my dad's been in real estate? No, there was no referrals. I had no past clients. So talk on how you started getting referrals from lawyers, local lawyers in your marketplace.
So this one I kind of stumbled upon, and you say, you know, you need your referral partners, so your mortgage guys, your lawyers and whatnot. But I always thought, well, if I'm not giving them deals, they're not going to give it to me. How do I ask? And so I just ignored it. And then I stumbled upon it with the lawyer that I usually do all my transactions through. He would always ask me for opinion of values. So whenever there's an estate or a will or in divorce, things like that, they need an opinion of value on the home. And he needs it quickly and he can't hand me down. And so it's something I can provide to them that's helpful to them. And so I thought, well, what if other lawyers need this as well? I'm sure they do. It can't just be the one guy. So I stole your letter, but I added a little blurb. I added a guarantee that basically I'll get them a guaranteed same day opinion of value on the home with all my comparable properties and all the homework so that they can use that for their work. In exchange, I'd love to be partners with them, basically earn their trust and work their way up their referral list.
Okay, so this is a email that will cost you $0. And what we're doing is we're emailing divorce attorneys or probate attorneys in your marketplace. In Canada, we call them lawyers. In the US, your attorney, same thing. Well, how do I find the attorneys? Well, okay, in the US, every state has a list that you can get of all the lawyers in your state from your state. It'll tell you, here's all the divorce attorneys. In Canada, the way I did it, I just Googled them. I don't know how you find them.
That's what I do too.
Right. So divorce lawyers in Grimsby, Ontario, boom, and they come up.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
What I like about emailing them is lawyers usually read their own emails, but you can also mail it. But mail it, you have to have a stamp.
So that's fair. So that you cost there. So I do all three. I call, I email, and I send the letter as well. And then I use that and play it into my follow-up. In the letter, I send a $5 Starbucks card or Tim's card, and I make a joke. Coffee doesn't ship very well, so this will have to do. And then it helps for my phone call follow-up because I can ask if they got my package, and then I ask about the coffee and make a dumb joke.
So folks, if you like to know more about our approaches, because right now you're like, okay, this would be great. It makes sense. But what does a lawyer say? Well, obviously you got to be a Craig Proctor member to get all of this, which you can check us out by booking a free call. If you go to proctorcall.com, it's a clickable link. Faith, maybe you can type that in the comments below. My name, Proctor Call, no space, proctorcall.com. We'll show you what the letter looks like. And basically the letter says, dear such and such, the lawyer, I've been searching for great lawyers in the area. I'm looking for lawyers that I can refer. I'm a real estate agent looking for lawyers I can refer my clients to and would like to work out a relationship. Now, we're not going to give you the whole letter here, but the letter works. It can be emailed. It can be mailed. And the objective of the letter or the email is to get the lawyer to call you or to contact you.
Exactly.
Okay, so how's that conversation go?
So if they're not the ones calling, sometimes you get admin when you call in and they get their front desk to call. Sometimes it's the lawyer that call. If they call about the email or the package, I always just try to build a rapport right away. Depends if I'm the one that called. I try to talk up the guarantee and what I can offer them, because what's in it for them. People always care about what's in it for them. So I asked them, I said, we've had a lot of other lawyers that They need opinion of value and they need it quickly. And it can be a real pain when they need to hunt down from your real estate agents. They're not hearing back and they need it in a timely manner so that they can do business. What we offer is a same day opinion of value. If you even if you request opinion of value, I'll have it to you by midnight that day, and I'll make sure you have it the same day. It'll have all the proof that you need, everything that you need to move forward with your business, and that way I can help you and you can help me.
Great. So you start to get a couple referrals, and now how do you schmooze these lawyers? Because once you get one, lawyers usually work in an office with other lawyers. I like how you cement the relationship and you leverage off that relationship with one lawyer to meet all the other lawyers that work at the firm.
So once they've agreed to work together and partner, I stop by the office with coffees. I do that periodically. Whether or not they're sending me business, I do that long before. So as soon as they've agreed, whether they've asked me for an opinion of value or not yet, whether they've given me a referral or not, I want to further that relationship. So I'm stopping by with coffees for them and the admin. I find the admin always has their ear. So you got to win over the secretary or the admin.
That's right. How was your weekend? No one's asked them how their weekend is.
Exactly.
So,
you got to
here's your
schmooze,
coffee. Right. Common sense.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask everyone watching this, how come you're not all doing this? Maybe some of you are, but let's do it more. If you have one lawyer that you're getting referrals from, imagine having 4 or 5 or 10 lawyers. So we're talking about a simple email. Gavin says, well, he does all 3. He emails it to him, costs $0. Now, if we put a stamp on it, we've kind of broken our rule here today because remember, the game is Gavin's not allowed to spend any money. So it would be a stamp. So, that wouldn't count. But yeah, you throw a stamp on it or you pick up the phone and call, which costs $0. And, you're going to blast this out to as many real estate, as many lawyers, divorce, probate, family law lawyers in your area. And the good ones are going to call you back. And you're going to build relationships with them. And then you're going to build off that relationship to meet all the other lawyers that work at their firm. And all of a sudden, this is a real thing. So how much money in 2024 do you think you'll make, rough estimate, from just sending out the email and the letter to local divorce attorneys?
So last year, when I stumbled upon it towards the end of the year, I made 23,440 off it. This year, so far, I've made 81,820.
$81,000 sending out an email and a letter. Folks, you guys love this? You can't not love this. This is real, okay? All right. Final thing we're going to talk about today is Facebook Marketplace. Very underutilized. And for most agents, they'll say this. Yeah, it doesn't work. Yeah, I tried it. Yeah, Facebook. Well, most real estate agents would say that about everything we've talked about. Open houses don't work. Lawyers. No, you're not getting referrals from lawyers. Every lawyer already knows a real estate agent. That's not going to work. Facebook Marketplace. Oh God, no. Those leads are all crap. That's not going to work. What would you say to that?
It works.
All right. Money made so far this year in 2024 from Facebook Marketplace.
This year, 30,000 so far.
Okay, 30 grand, 0 ad spend. And here's the irony. Most of what you're advertising on Facebook Marketplace, they're not even your listings.
None of them are. Yeah.
None of them are your listings
as well.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay. So leveraging off of other agents' listings to make 30 grand, advertising other agents' listings on Facebook Marketplace with 0 ad spend. Okay. Give us some of the keys as to what does the ad need to look like? What's the approach need to be when running other agents' listings under your name on Facebook Marketplace? Again, with the other agent's permission. If you joined us a bit late, I don't want you to think, okay, Gavin's stealing other agents' listings without their permission. That's not how this works. We're getting full permission to do this. And the question is for all of you, are you allowed to advertise other brokerages' listings with their permission? And if not, you're certainly able to advertise other agents within your brokerage with written permission. Okay, that's how you're going to do it. Okay, so I've got some listings now. What have you found to be successful when running these ads on Facebook Marketplace?
I find the most successful is when it's a real listing. So I used to use just random photos of houses. I used to use old listings I had as the photo, and I wouldn't make up. It'd be real price of something on the market and whatnot. But I found people get very frustrated when the picture they saw isn't what's actually available. So when I make those calls to agents for open houses, I always ask if I can use it on Facebook Marketplace as well. And there's nothing to say you can't keep calling agents after you have an open house. So I keep calling and I get more people to approve that I can market their property and bring them a buyer. So now I have this bank of listings that I can post to Facebook Marketplace, which has a more positive feedback because they're real listings. I find when I'm more casual, when I respond to them, I get a better response, and you just keep making offers. So in the description there, I have a little bit about the house, but I also have all of our offers. So off market and unlisted properties. I have, I do save 10 or I pay you money. I have the cancellation guarantee. I include all my offers in the listing on Facebook Marketplace because I don't care if they buy that house. I'm trying to win them over. I want something to be enticing for them to reach out. So
Let's talk about some of these other offers. The savings guarantee, how does that work? I'm a buyer, and every real estate agent would say, "Hey, Craig, if you work with me, I'm a great agent. I'm a great negotiator. If you work with me, I'm going to save you all this money." So how do you cut through all that noise? How is your offer better than what other agents are saying?
that's fair. Well, I think it's so important to put your money where your mouth is, and I put that right on a lot of my posts. It's one thing to say you're a great negotiator. It's another to do just that and save your client money. So if I don't save you at least 10,000 on the purchase price of your next property, I'm going to personally pay you 2,000 upon closing.
Okay, a $10,000 cash savings guarantee in writing, upfront and in writing. If you use Gavin's services, he's going to guarantee to save you at least, at a minimum, $10,000, or he'll pay you $2,000 on closing. This is how it's done, folks. Now, if you want to know more about Craig Proctor and what we teach, I've been doing this for 30 years. Some of you know my story. I was like Gavin. I don't know whether you dropped out of college or university. I did. But I know one thing. When I started in real estate, I had no money and I had to figure it out. Within 3 years, I became the #1 RE/MAX agent in the world for commissions earned. And I kept doing that over and over and over again. I did that for 25 years. I sold over 10,000 homes. And what I found along the way is that everything that I was doing is transferable. In other words, everything we're talking about today has absolutely nothing to do with Craig and Gavin. It's about an approach. It's about a system. And when I started having this quick success, other real estate agents from all over Canada and the United States were like, how the hell is this guy doing it? I was in my 20s. In fact, the first year I was #1 for RE/MAX, I was still living at home with my parents. I was in my 20s. I only had my real estate license for 3 years, but I was making millions of dollars, and other agents wanted to find out, what is this guy doing? And I started sharing these systems with other agents. And what I found is, in short order, the other agents that started to do what I was doing were getting the exact same results that I'm getting. So this is not surprising that Gavin, he goes full in on this and he starts to implement this. And actually, for you newer agents, it's a lot easier. It's easier for me to take someone like Gavin and say, hey, Gavin, go do this and this and this, because he doesn't question it, right? He's like, well, no, I know that won't work. And all my ultimate wisdom in my years and nope, he has no bad habits, right? So it's going to be a little bit more difficult for you folks that are watching this, have been doing it for a long time, because you have all these preconceived notions as to how real estate should work. You have these old paradigms. And I'm asking you today to suspend your disbelief. What if this is true? What if Gavin's, not my relative? He's not my nephew. He's not, not a paid actor. What if this is true? What if here's a guy in Grimsby, Ontario, that's been in real estate for 3 years. He's not spending money on advertising and marketing, but he's going to make $250,000 here in 2024. Where in the first year of real estate, he made about $34,000 looking around doing what everyone else is doing. So Gavin's situation here is not unique. Now, I'm doing a big conference tomorrow in Toronto. Now, some of you are going to be watching this after the date of the conference. The conference is tomorrow, July the 10th. So If you're watching this after this, I apologize. But if you are in the greater Toronto area and you want to attend the conference, it's a free event. And you can get information at my website at craigproctor.com, or you can just call my office toll free, 1-800-538-1034. Or heck, if you wish, I'll give you my email address. It's craig@craigproctor.com. And Gavin, if folks want to reach you, they want to verify, hey, you're a real guy, this is real, how would they reach you?
Email, call, text. It's Lutz Realty. If you Google that, it'll come up everywhere. Email is homes, HOMES, @gavinlutz.com.
Now, I'm going to have Gavin as one of our superstar panelists tomorrow at the big conference. Again, we're going to have like 3 or 4, I think it's like 400 people registered for it. But he deserves a seat on that panel because he's done a great job. And Gavin's going to share his stories he did here today. And he's going to resonate with a lot of people that are in the audience that need some help and some strategies. When you don't have a lot of money and you don't have a large referral network, this is how we do it. We gave you 3 strategies that Gavin has used to get himself up to $250,000 in gross commission income within 36 months of having his license. Those 3 strategies, again, were open houses. Even if you don't have any listings, we teach you how to do open houses by cherry picking the best listings in town. And we do this legally with permission. Number 2, partnership with local lawyers, whether they be divorce attorneys or probate attorneys. And number 3, running these same listings that we've borrowed on Facebook Marketplace for $0, but you got to run the ads properly. And this is what Gavin's going to be talking about in his presentation tomorrow in Toronto. So, guys, if you like this, let us know in the comments below. Make sure you check in, tell us what city, what state or province you're in, and let us know what you liked about this. We will get back to you. Might not be right away, but type in your questions or whatever. If you want a free report that kind of describes or summarizes what we talked about, Faith, maybe you can share that free report right now. It's called, the name of the report is How to Get Listings in a Volatile Market. And I know there's a lot of you watching this that want help on where do I get started with this? How do I get listings in a volatile market? So I have prepared this free report. It costs you $0. To get this, all you have to do is drop your email address in the comments below. It's pretty thorough, as you can see, as Faith is scrolling through this. We'll get this out to you for free. Just drop your email in, and we'll email that out to you. And remember, if you want to book a free breakthrough call with me, it costs $0. We'll have a conversation about where are you right now in your real estate business, and what is your goal? Where would you like to go? And I don't know, maybe you're selling 25 homes a year and your goal is 50. Well, what's holding you back? And you're going to tell me, well, I'm at 25, Craig, but I'd like to do 50 or I'd like to do 100. And you would proceed to tell me, because I'd say, well, why are you not already doing 100? Well, here's all my issues. I will give you my advice free of charge on what I would do if I was you. And I'll share with you some techniques. Now, at the end of our half-an-hour session, you're either going to say, yeah, I like this, and this makes sense, and I feel like Craig could really help me. And we could have a conversation about how Craig could really help you. Or you might say, you know what, this is not for me. Didn't cost you any money at all to have this conversation. And you continue and go about your merry way, continuing to do what you're doing. So it's proctorcall.com, no space, proctorcall.com. I'll have Faith drop all this information into the comments below. My contact information, Gavin's contact information, how you book a call with us, how you get that free report, and how to get listings in a volatile market. Everything will be below. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you follow me, okay? If you're watching this on Facebook, turn on notifications. Make sure you follow me on social media, because if you remember at the beginning of our conversation, when I said to Gavin, how did you find me? He's like, well, I saw you once on social media and I started watching your stuff, and then I got retargeted. I promise that's what's going to happen to every single one of you now. Whether you like me or not, you're going to start seeing me all over the place on social media. But this is what we teach you folks to do, right? Identify the best prospects, the best buyers and sellers in your marketplace, and then be in front of them with great offers. Okay. Notice I said with great offers, not just be in front of them saying, I'm a great real estate agent. I've lived in this town for 17 years. I'd really like your business. We're not doing that. We're coming at the best prospects in the marketplace by offering them something they really, really want, but they don't know how to get it anywhere at any commission, at any price. They don't know where to get it except for with you. It's not being offered by the other agents. They can't do a quick Google search. They can't say to Gavin, well, my brother-in-law can do this for 4%. Nope. Their brother-in-law, their friend can't do it for 4%, 5%, 6%, or 7%. They can only get what Gavin's offering from Gavin. So he has something that buyers and sellers really want. And we'll teach you how you can do the same thing. So Gavin, thank you so much for doing this today.
It's my pleasure. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow in Toronto. Remember, a little networking party after. Might have a couple beers and some food. So we'll see everybody soon. Thank you, everyone, so much for watching the Craig Proctor Real Estate Show. Make sure you sign up below, and we'll talk to you all soon. Take care.
Take care, everyone.